Let's go next to, why don't we go to Edgar from Florida? Edgar, you're on the air.
Thanks for having me on this
Ooh,
call.
Edgar, we're
So,
gonna have to do something about your audio.
oh yeah, okay, no problem. Let me
That's
go
much
ahead
better.
and
Yeah, very quick fix.
awesome. So, I just wanted to ask really your opinion on basically how Latin America deals with their own racial spectrum. I feel like a lot of the times in America, sorry, people may have an underrated observation of race relations between, for example, Afro-Colombian, African Colombians, and white Colombians, for example.
Yes,
And for example, how in some countries there's a lot of like there's a big African Colombian maybe or Ecuadorian population, but maybe not so much in, for example, Argentina. Correct me if I'm wrong,
you're
maybe. So I
absolutely
was
right. You're
wondering.
absolutely right. No, this is a super important issue, Edgar. I know that there are some people on the left who want to believe the U.S. is like the most racist country, and we just it's disastrous racism. We have problems with race in the United States. That is both individual racism. It's also structural racism and the after effects of structural racism that have not yet been resolved in the inequalities they deal with. But some of the stuff that goes on, there are many countries that are much more racist than the United States. And I don't now, I'm not saying Argentina is the most racist country, but because I know Argentina because I was born there, attitude there. First of all, there's almost no what we in the US would call black folks. Down there they often refer to black people who are just like more what we would call native or mixed populations.
Yes.
They refer to them as black, and
Yeah.
often in pejorative terms. There is a lack of even understanding. Like, I remember family members of mine who don't even realize that the way they're saying it is sort of strange would say, what is it like with the president being black in the United States? And I would be like, I don't know. I didn't really think about it in those terms. It's sort of just like there's a president. So that's Argentina, and there's a lot of other examples I could tell you. There are
Yeah. Same
many
here. Yeah.
countries where the issues of racism, we could say they're worse or not as bad or just different than in the U.S. But the U.S. is not, the worst offender of racism. The U.S. has tons of people. The U.S. has a horrible history of racism that's codified in law, and these are terrible things, and we're still working to fix them. And there's much work to be done, but it's not unique to the United States.
Absolutely. I agree. Wow. Thanks so much, Dave. And if I could ask one quick little extra question in
Sure.
there, you identify as basically a white Jewish person or as Argentinian. How would you kind of word that yourself? Because I have an Argentinian friend
Yeah.
who his girlfriend kind of told him, but you're white, like ethnically or like, whatever. You look like a white guy. And he took offense to that. Like, no, I'm Argentinian.
Well,
I'm of
here's what's really funny about that. By the US Census definitions, I'm certainly Hispanic. There's no question about that, because and you can be white and Hispanic or non-white and Hispanic. So by the
mm,
US Census, I'm absolutely Hispanic. I also am in a sense a white guy, in that people see me as a white guy, and I learned English young enough that I don't have an accent in English, except when I'm deliberately mispronouncing words for the lulls. You understand? Okay.
yeah.
But then there's another funny thing, which is really my ethnicity is Ashkenazi Jewish. Like, when I do my DNA test,
Mm.
it doesn't come back, European, German, French. It comes back Ashkenazi Jewish. White supremacists don't see me as white. Now, why I care what they see me as maybe is a different question for a different day. But the bottom line is, I identify as a white Hispanic. That's the way that I mostly see myself.
Hey, same here, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh man, I appreciate the time, David.
All
Thanks a
right.
lot. Great
Edgar
answers,
from
man.
Florida, powerful phone call. Very, very exciting.